Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. This is going to be 22 books I want to read in 2022, so it's kind of self-explanatory. These are 22 books that in the year of 2022 I would like to read, and a lot of them are series. So for the series, it's mainly I want to read at least the first book, or some of them I have. Like, if it's the first book in a series, I want to read the whole series or as much as out in the series type thing, if that makes any sense. And so I will just go through. If I own the book, I'll hold the book up. If I don't, I will pop up the book cover, one of these sides, I don't know which side, and all of that. I will be doing brief descriptions, aka like a one-liner of what I know about these, because honestly some of these I don't really know what they are about, and I was looking down because I have a list. That was a little sneak peek, I guess, and these are in no particular order. These are just as I was thinking of books I wanted to read, I was writing them down. So yeah. So the first is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, and this was originally on my 21 books to read in 2021, and well, I didn't start that series. I am mad at myself for not, but honestly, next year I want to read it. And literally all I know is this is it's like a slightly ancient Rome inspired setting, and we have a girl who ends up like sneaking into like a military academy or something like that. I don't really know much about this, even though it's so popular, because I let it go in one year and out the other to avoid spoilers. So that's the first book. Book number 2 is Legend by Marie Lu, and this I know actually nothing about. I'm like trying to think if I actually know anything, and I'm like, I can't think of anything. I know that Fairy Loot just announced that they were doing like a beautiful set of that, of the series, and I'm honestly like, I wish I had the money to buy it. But that's a whole separate thing, but I do really want to read Legend. Next, for number 3 is Renegades by Marissa Meyer, and this again was one that was on my 21 books to read in 2021, but I didn't get to it. And this is, it's like superheroes, and like that's pretty much all I know. It's like kind of like sci-fi superheroes, and I love the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer, so I want to read more of her books. So yeah. Number 4 is Devouring Gray by Lynn Herman, and this is like, there's this town that these people are from, and it's like there's magic in the town, and they have to like do things to keep the magic alive and to keep the gray out, which is like something in the forest. That's pretty much like all I know. And but I really want to read this because I've owned it for, I don't even know when I got this. Next is Facing the Sun by Carol Beth Anderson. Is that the title? Whatever the thing is. I can think of what the trilogy is called. I think that's the first one. This, I know nothing about, but I've absolutely loved what I've read by Carol Beth Anderson so far. I honestly want to read both this and her nonfiction, which is like, I'll pop that cover up here too. This is not on the list, but this is also one I want to read, but this one would be more for my author things of like, it's to do with like alpha, beta, and ARC readers and like tips for that. But yeah. And I know nothing about Facing the Sun except there's a girl with sun abilities, I think. I honestly don't know. Next we have In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland, and I cannot remember like anything about this, except that it features a like poly relationship, and it's YA, so like of course I want to read that. Are we surprised? Maybe if you're new, but like anything even remotely queer, I'm here for it. In the Ravenous Dark is queer because it features a, is it a female male poly thing? Yes. think so, if I remember correctly. See, a lot of books I like hear things about, and then I just kind of go like, oh, add to TBR, I want to read that, and then like a lot of the times I never do, even though I want to read those books so bad. I also realized I forgot to say the numbers. I don't know what number we're on at this point. Number 7 is Loveless by Alice Oseman. I also put on the thing / just any Alice Oseman book. In general, there's like Radio Silence, Loveless, oh my gosh, I'm brain farting on titles, but there's multiple Alice Oseman books. I'd love to read all of them, but at least one, and I picked Loveless because I think it's the most recent release. Yes, it's the most recent release, and this I know nothing about. All I know is I loved the Heartstopper comics by Alice Oseman, so I really want to read their like novels instead of like graphic novels, if that makes any sense at all. Next we have The Young Elites, which is number 8 on the list. Yes, number 8 on the list is The Young Elites by LaRue. Yes, we have 2 series by LaRue. I just really want to read her work and like continue on with her work because I've read the Warcross duology, fairly enjoyed it, so I want to kind of see what other things she's wrote and like if I like any of those. And this, I don't know anything except it's like morally gray characters / villains are like our protagonists, but that's pretty much it. Number 9 is The Lion of the Sea by Micheline and Ryckman, and this is the second book in the Maidenship series. So it's a book 2 in a series, and essentially it's like there's these people on the sea. Magic has disappeared and now it's back, I think, if I remember correctly, or something like that. And I just really want to read it. I meant to read it in 2021 because I read the Maidenship in July, and I wanted to continue on with the series, but I just never did. And I know that book 3, The Rightful Bearer, comes out sometime in 2022. I think the announcement for the release date is in January or something like that. I follow the author on Instagram. I don't pay attention half the time. I'm a bad person when it comes to social media. Number 10 is Daughter of the Pirate King by Tricia Levenseller, and this, we follow pirates. It's a duology, that's all I know about the series. And I know I want to read it. I read The Shadows Between Us by Tricia Levenseller, and I gave it 5 stars. So I kind of have hopes that I will like this. Like, maybe not 5 stars, but I don't know. Like, I want to read more of her work. A lot of these authors are just, I want to read more of their work and all of that. Or just read their work in general. Number 11 is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. If you don't not know what this book is about, you live under a rock. We have Addie LaRue, who is like immortal, and anytime she meets somebody, they forget who she is, or something like that. I've heard amazing things about this novel from like everybody that's read it, and like I meant to read it in 2021. Like I kind of wanted to. I do want to read more of V.E. Schwab's work in general, because I've read the Darker Shade of Magic series and 2 of the Cassidy Blake books, which technically is Victoria Schwab, but same author, just different pen names. So overall, more V.E. Schwab in general, but specifically The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Number 12 is Desperate Measures by Katee Robert, and technically this whole series is just Disney retellings where they are not like the originals. Like the villains get the hero and they are smutty. That's all I'm gonna say. I really want to read these books because I've heard great things about that, and I do love me a little bit of smut here and there, so maybe I'll read a few of them throughout the year. I'm not sure. The next one is Empire the Vampire by J. Kristoff. This was an impulse buy, but I do really want to read it. Essentially, for the last 27 years, the sun hasn't rose and vampires have taken over, and we're following somebody telling the story, or something like that. I also kind of wanted to put Nevernight by J. Kristoff on this list, but I kind of didn't want J. Kristoff to take 2 spots because I know he's a very problematic author, but I have read 5 out of the 6 books that he has co-written with Amy Kaufman and have enjoyed them. so I kind of want to read some of his individual work as well as Amy Kaufman's, but that's more like a, I'm not as interested, if that makes any sense. In number 14 slot, I realize I haven't been keeping track with the numbers. Who cares? I might put the number on the screen. I'll decide in editing. But number 14 is Rhapsodic by Thalassa, and this is, it's like a fantasy romance. And like, a girl makes a deal with somebody and like, I don't know. I don't know. Becca from Becca and the Books loves this series, so that's pretty much like all I need to know. I've heard great things about it, and like in like multiple different reading groups as well that people have enjoyed it, so, and it does seem like the kind of book that I'd like, because I do really like fantasy romance books. So the next one is The Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake. Is that the author? Oh my god, I'm brain farting on the author. I wrote it down, but I don't know if that's the right name. But essentially all I know is there's like these 6 people that are fighting for this spot for something, and only 5 will get a spot. I know it was independently published and then was picked up by a publishing company. I think it was a UK publishing company. So I kind of want to get the like independently published edition. Like, I want a physical copy of this for sure. I put it on my Christmas list, so who knows, my mom might have bought it for me for Christmas, because I just gave a wish list to her. Who knows? There's a couple, I think that's the only one on this list that actually was on my thing. Yeah. Everything else wasn't on my wish list. Oops. Number 16 is The Darkness Outside of Us by Eliot Schreifer? I'm pronouncing that last name wrong probably. This is, I don't even know. This was added to my TBR via was a live show or a live stream. Brianna from Four Paws in the Books mentioned this in one of her live streams, and it was described as like, it was like gays in space, and like, that's like all I needed to hear to add it. That's literally all I know. I wanted to read it in December, but I don't think I'll be able to, so probably January, honestly. It's a standalone, so like, probably January, especially if I land on standalone for my Bookopoly board. Number 17 is Zodiac Academy. I don't remember the first, is it the first book, The Awakening, by Caroline Peckman and Susan Valenti. I really want to read this because it is a bully romance, like a fantasy bully romance, and like, I've heard amazing things. I'm in the author's Facebook groups and I literally see things every single day. I loved the, what was that series called? I don't remember what this series was called, but the first book was Kings of Quarantine by the two of them. I love that series. I want to read more of their works. And like, I feel like Zodiac Academy is like the best place to start to like move on, because it's like fantasy and all that. And I was meaning to get to it sooner, but I just haven't. Because it's also like, I think there's going to be 8 books in total, but then there's also like other things in the world. I kind of overall just want to read the giant world, but I think in the giant world there is like 15 plus books or something like that. So probably won't get to all of them in 2022. Next is Caraval by Stephanie Garber, and I've heard great things about this, especially since the release of Once Upon a Broken Heart, which is a, is it a prequel or a sequel? I don't remember. Is it a prequel? And I literally know nothing about this. I know nothing about Caraval, except I've heard it's good. I've heard it's typical YA, but that still intrigues me. I also, any single fan art I've seen, I have literally just gone, that is gorgeous. So like, yeah. Number 19 is A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. And this, I just love the cover. This was a cover, like, I need to like read this based on the cover type thing. But it's queer, it's fae, and it's set in Canada, which I rarely see books that take place in Canada. So like, that was also another thing, and this was very popular when it first came out. And I've heard only good things, so I'd love to read this maybe upon book 2's release. Don't ask me the title. I don't know. But I think book 2 comes out in July, so maybe around that time, who knows. The final physical book on this list is Honor Among Thieves by Rachel Kane and Anne Aguirre. And this is criminals in space, aliens. Yeah. That just sounds like something I'd like. I'm really starting to get into sci-fi, or at least specifically YA sci-fi, I shall say. And this just seems like something I'd like, and like, yeah, like I think it's found family and like all that too, so yeah. Number 21 is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair, and this is a Hades and Persephone retelling. It's dark, it's kind of smutty. That's all I know. I know that there are multiple books in this series, and like, I don't even know what book we're up to, so like, I want to at least read the first book. I've heard such good things about it. And finally is, at number 22, is White Hot Kiss by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I couldn't tell you a single thing about this book, in all honesty. Because in my brain, like, all of her series have been, like, wound together, and I'm like, I could explain this book, but I might be explaining a different book. I want to read more of Jennifer L. Armentrout's backlog, because the Blood and Ash series is, I think, my all-time favorite series, point blank. And I know that it's very different from her other work, because it is a like epic and high fantasy, but I read Wicked, like the Wicked series, and that was like more like contemporary fantasy, and I enjoyed that. But I might like more of her books, so like, you never really know. So I overall just want to read more of her books. So those are 22, plus I think I mentioned 2 extras, so technically it's 24, but whoop-dee, 22 books I want to read in 2022. Well, 22 books slash series, because if it's a finished series, I'd love to get the series started and finished. If the series isn't finished, I'd like to get as caught up as possible before the end of the year, the end of next year. It's insane to think I'm filming this video. It feels like it should be not December. It feels like I just filmed this video last year, but nope, that was a year ago I was filming this. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what are some books that you want to read in 2022. Leave those in the comments, or if you have read any of these books or want to read any of these books, also let me know in the comments below. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!